Hi everyone, today we're making yogurt. What is it? It's a tangy, cultured, concentrated milk product. What do you need to make it? You need milk. Well, what is milk? It can come from a cow, come from a yak, it can come from a goat. You can use any type of milk to make yogurt. It's basically 87% water and then 13% different solids that constitute lactose, which is basically milk sugar, milk fat, some proteins, and then some vitamins and minerals. All right. If you look at your milk, whole milk is about 3.25% milk fat. This happens to be 2% milk fat. And then you also have your 1%, which would be 1% milk fat. And if it's fat-free, then it's 0.5% or less milk fat, okay? Now, some other terms on your milk container that you're gonna see would be, is it homogenized? There we go. All right, homogenized. What does that mean? Those small fat particles are broken down, and if milk wasn't homogenized, you would see the cream rise to the top, and it gives milk its like bright white color. The other thing that is really important in cheese making is pasteurization. Now, Louis Pasteur was a French chemist back in the 1800s, and he's the one that we credit to pasteurization. What is pasteurization? It's basically a heat treatment to kill enzymes and bad bacteria in milk. Now, there are different types of pasteurization. For instance, milk can be pasteurized to 145 degrees for 30 minutes. It can be pasteurized to 161 degrees for about 15 seconds. All right, well, time is money. So milk is typically pasteurized with the latter option because it's faster, all right? Then you also might see on a product, okay, and I have some heavy cream here, it says ultra pasteurization. This milk is heated to 275 for about 2 to 4 seconds, and it basically extends the shelf life of a product. Now, the other pasteurization that you might see is ultra high temp pasteurization. What is that? That's pasteurization that is heated to about 280 degrees for 2 seconds, and it makes that milk product shelf stable. So if you see milk on the shelf at your local supermarket, that has been ultra high heat pasteurized. Now, the other ingredient that we need to make yogurt is actually yogurt, okay? Yogurt is our culture. And when you get yogurt, it needs to be plain, and you need to look at the ingredients on your yogurt container. And it should say contains live and active cultures, okay? If it says made with, leave it at the grocery store. That means that container has been heat treated and your cultures are dead, all right? So we have taken a gallon of milk, and you can reduce this recipe down to just a quart of milk if you want it. And if you want to do a quart of milk, it would be 1 quart of milk and half a cup of your yogurt culture. Today we have 1 gallon of milk and 2 cups of yogurt. So we're going to temper, okay, our yogurt by taking a little bit of the heated milk, and this milk has been heated to 120 degrees and then placed in an ice bath and cooled to 115 degrees, okay? So I'm going to bring the temperature of the yogurt up a little bit. And when you are making yogurt or any cheese, it's really important that you're controlling the bacteria, okay? So what does that mean? You have to make sure everything has been totally clean. I'm using only stainless steel products here. I'm not gonna put a wooden spoon in here. All of my containers have been cleaned and sterilized, okay? So now that the temperatures of the yogurt's been tempered, I'm gonna add it to my heated milk. All right, so what's happening here? How do we know? Well, we're gonna go back to our ingredients. To explain how milk becomes yogurt. All right, and that we're going back to, this is a culture, it's bacteria, but it's beneficial bacteria. Remember, not all bacteria is bad. We need bacteria to make things ferment. So if you've ever made bread or any type of beer or alcohol or cheese, it all needs bacteria to ferment, okay? And those bacterias are good. Okay, I'm just gonna stir it again. Remember, all of my materials are stainless steel, and I'm just getting this to the right consistency. All right, so if we look at our ingredients, and I'm gonna read this, it says it has S. thermophilus, which means Streptococcus thermophilus bacteria. And what does that do? That bacteria feeds on the lactose, the milk sugar, and it produces lactic acid, okay? That creates a very acidic environment. And then the other culture, which is L. bulgarius, okay, it takes that acidic environment and makes it more acidic, and it denatures the protein, and then that coagulates or binds into a soft custard gel, okay? So that's how this liquid is going to start to become more of a solid. All right, so this, then once it's thoroughly mixed, we are going to take this and put it into our jars, okay? And I always make a mess, but that's okay. And then once it goes into the jar, we are gonna put a lid on it. And then it has to continue to ferment and coagulate, and it's gonna do that. If you have a yogurt maker, then you would do it in a yogurt maker. I do not have a yogurt maker. What I do have is a sous vide setup here, okay? So we are gonna put this in the sous vide setup, and this is a immersion circulator that keeps the temperature of the water at a constant temperature. So it's at 110 degrees, because the yogurt ferments best between 100 and 120 degrees. So we're gonna go straight in the middle there. Okay, and you can process the yogurt for about 3 hours or 9. We're just gonna go in the middle and we're gonna process it for 6, and then we'll see what it turns out and looks like. All right, so our recipe has made 5 quart jars. You're gonna put the lid on, and with just 2 fingers, you're gonna just screw it on, okay? And then it's gonna go in here. And the water, remember, is only at 110 degrees, so this isn't that hot. Yep. And I'm gonna cover it, and it's going to process for 6 hours, okay? I will remove the jars, and then they will be refrigerated, and refrigerating stops the fermentation process, okay? Once it refrigerates overnight, we will taste it, and I'll tell you what I think. Good morning, welcome back. It is the following day of our yogurt journey, and our yogurt processed in the sous vide. Right now we're processing something else for 6 hours at 110 degrees, and then it was refrigerated for about, I would say, 10 hours. All right, and this is what it looks like. So you'll notice that there's some liquid at the top. All that liquid is whey, and it's just some water that's filled with protein that rises to the top. Remember, our milk is about 87% water, okay? And this is our finished yogurt. And it's a little thinner than what we normally get at the grocery store, and that's okay. With that said, the next time I make this, what I might do is, instead of using 2% pasteurized milk, remember it has to be pasteurized, not ultra pasteurized or the ultra heat pasteurized. That milk is not gonna yield you any yogurt at all. Okay, and I use 2%, so next time when I make this, I'll probably use some whole milk, and that might make my yogurt a little thicker. And I might adjust the temperature environment of the water. So what I might do is I might, instead of 110, try 115 degrees and maybe process it a little longer to get thicker yogurt. All right, so I'm actually gonna try this. It's slightly sour, has a nice little tang, and the consistency is a little thin. So how do we change the consistency? Well, you can do that by straining your yogurt, and then you'll end up with a product that's similar to Greek yogurt. All right, and I did that last night. I actually took the contents of 1 jar, and then I put it in muslin, which is a porous material that allows the water to be strained through. And this is in a colander. There's holes on the bottom, and you have to have this under a bowl so the whey has somewhere to go. And then you end up with a thickened yogurt, okay? So I'm gonna try this. And the consistency is much thicker, but I'm just gonna show you that if you look at all of the liquid, this is a 2-cup container, and I guarantee you it'll probably fill this, if not have more, okay? So we have over 2 cups of whey, so you probably have maybe a cup and a half of this Greek strained yogurt. All right, this whey I'm not gonna throw out. I'm actually gonna turn this into the water I will use to make bread, or you can feed this to a plant, okay? It has lots of protein, and just so you know, our yogurt is very, very good for us. It has some beneficial bacteria, okay? It also has vitamin A, vitamin C, vitamin D. For minerals, it's got some calcium, some magnesium, some phosphorus, some riboflavin, and the cultures have turned that lactose into some beneficial bacteria that's actually good for our belly. So with my yogurt cheese, if you will, okay, I'm gonna take it and put it into my bowl here. And as you see, it does not really yield that much, but that's okay. And then we are going to flavor it. So I have some shallot. Shallot's just a cross between like an onion and a garlic. There's some parsley and some chives and some garlic. This is all from my garden. It's nice and fresh. And it's all chopped fine. Okay, we're gonna add some pepper. Let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's good. We're going to add a pretty large dash, or maybe 2, of salt. And I'm making this savory, but you can also make this sweet by adding maybe any sweetener that you like, honey, maple syrup, agave, maybe some cinnamon, and it would be a nice like spread for some like French toast or to put on top of waffles. All right. So we have like a little yogurt, garlic and herb cheese dip, which I'm gonna put on a little cracker. And try, it's delicious. It's light and refreshing. It's got a lot of good flavor. It's healthy. So I want you to remember, when you're making any type of yogurt, it's important to actually write down all of your notes. And if you want to try something different, write down your notes and write down the description of the final product, so you know and remember to either mimic or to change your results. All right, so we made some delicious yogurt. We turned it into some Greek yogurt and then into a delicious final little yogurt cheese spread. Make some yogurt, have some fun. I love you all. Have a beautiful day.